Hello, and welcome back to Two Therapists Walk Into a Podcast. I am Robin Green, an LCSW in Tucson, Arizona.
And I'm Stephanie Edsel. I'm an LCSW in Salt Lake City, Utah. We are not softening today's title. The parts we hate. That's the word.
And we definitely, or I floated a gentler one. Steph would not have it.
No. And that's just on brand for me. Some things deserve the honest word instead of the tidy, cute little package.
Okay. And so then the paradox that we're sitting inside today is this. The part of you that hates another part of you the most is usually not the enemy either. It's the one trying hardest to help.
Which sounds like a trick. I know. So stay with us.
The parts we hate. Allowing ourselves to arrive gently, because today asks a little more of us than usual. If you're in the car and driving, please pay attention to the road. Wherever else you are, let yourself have exactly the reaction you're having to that title. If some parts of you flinched hearing it, that's all right. If some part of you sat up and thought, finally, that's all right too. Allowing yourself to be here, willing to listen in whatever capacity you are allowing. Just noticing what your system needs in this moment. And allowing yourself to come close. Maybe there's a part of you that showed up to protect you long before this episode existed. Today is not about defeating it. Today could be about finding out what it's actually been trying to do this whole time. And so let's begin however that begins for you. Okay, so let's start with something true that doesn't get said enough. That almost nobody hates all their parts equally.
No, usually it's one or two. Often the ones we've already met. The one that goes blank. The one that says yes before really thinking it through. Or the one that can't sit alone for an evening without reaching for somebody.
The quiet ones mostly, not fight. Usually people tend to at least respect their fighter, even when it embarrasses them. It's the freeze, fawn, and flock that take the worst of it. The ones that look from outside kind of like weakness.
I'd agree. Maybe you can hear inside, why can't I just say no? Or why do I need people this much? Perhaps, why did I freeze instead of fighting back? That particular flavor of contempt is what we're talking about.
And then underneath that flavor is something worth slowing down for today. That voice delivering the verdict isn't just you being honest with yourself. It's a part too. It has a job.
Please say more on that.
Well, I think and know that we've spent this whole series treating the fighter, the fog, the fawn, etc., as patterns that formed for a reason. The voice that hates them formed for a reason too. It sounds like an objective referee kind of standing outside the system calling the truth. It is a part inside the system, same as the rest.
That is so genuinely hard to hear for the first time. Because it does not feel like a part. It feels like clarity, like, I don't know, finally seeing yourself accurately or something.
Yeah, and I think that could also be exactly what makes it convincing. It's fluent, it's fast, it's had a lot of practice.
Yeah, I can see that. So I guess what's it protecting then? Because everything else on this list we've been able to name. Fight protects you from being caught off guard. Flight from staying somewhere costly. Freeze from being seen. Fawn and flock from being alone with danger. What in the world does the hating protect?
Ugh, I think this is definitely the part that matters the most, and it doesn't really get said plainly enough. Sometimes growing up, there was a real rage in a kid at something unfair, at someone who hurt them, at a situation with no exit, and that rage had nowhere safe to go. You can't safely be furious at someone you depended on to keep you safe. So then that dependency makes the fury too dangerous to aim like outward.
And believe me, it goes somewhere else because all energy has to.
It goes inward. Turning the fury on yourself is a strange kind of safety. It doesn't threaten the relationship you can't afford to lose. You become both the one who's angry and the one the anger lands on. Nobody else has to know, nobody else gets endangered.
Yikes. I genuinely need a second with that.
Take it.
Okay. Truly, though. So I'm guessing that the self hatred isn't randomly cruel. It's rage that maybe got rerouted because the original target was too dangerous to aim at.
That is the theory, yes, and it explains something people describe constantly in this work, that their self attack has real heat in it, real fury. It's not just like flat out disapproval, it's often the angriest part in that whole system, just pointed the one direction that felt survivable.
So the fighter we met a few episodes ago,
You know, it might be the same energy, just never allowed to face outward.
hmm. So what do you think happens, I guess, to a person over time carrying a part whose whole job is literally attacking another part of them?
That's called self alienation. It's really the accurate name for what a lot of people just call low self worth. Not really an opinion about yourself, but an internal split, a survival self that learned to run things by force, and then a truer, younger self underneath that only ever wanted to be wanted. One person really holding both.
What a dialectic. Hmm. Oneself doing two very different jobs at once. And one of those jobs is guarding the other.
And guarding, remember, is still protecting. Badly, at real cost, but protecting, that's the reframe that we want you to leave with today. It's cost people relationships, years, sometimes almost everything. But it was never really about you being bad necessarily. It was a scared, furious part doing the only job it could figure out how to do.
That doesn't mean staying there.
No, it means starting from the right diagnosis, really, instead of the wrong one, the right framework. You can't negotiate with, I'm just kind of broken. You can actually talk to a part that's scared and tired and has been working this job alone for a very, very long time.
I feel like that's very merciful, Robin. I like that. Thanks.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Well, I like it. It brings us to the nugget because there's a physical piece to this too, right?
Yeah, today's word, shame, specifically how it differs maybe from guilt. People use them interchangeably and they're not the same event in the body at all.
Right. And guilt. Guilt says, I did something bad. It's a behavior, and it usually comes with an urge to repair, apologize, fix it, just basically do better. Shame says something else entirely. Shame is encompassing the bad, about identity, not behavior. And instead of an urge to repair, it brings up an intense urge, sometimes like an intense one, to disappear, to fade away, to just get out of that entirely. So physically, that's not a metaphor either. Shame has a body signature you can feel. Heat rising in the face, the pull to look away or shrink, a kind of collapse through the chest and shoulders, the wish to become smaller or vanish from the room. And I notice in my own system, like my blood goes cold.
I think it's closer to freeze than almost anything else on our list. The body's actually bracing the same way it braces from a threat, except the threat this time is being seen.
That's exactly why the attacking part's strategy sort of works short term. If shame makes you smaller and quieter, and the goal was always to avoid drawing attention or danger, I mean, shrinking does look like success.
Yeah, it looks like success to the part doing the shrinking. It just costs the rest of you everything.
Gosh, doesn't it? So when that heat, that urge to vanish shows up, it's not proof of anything true about your worth. It's a body doing an old, familiar move.
A move that used to buy safety. That's the hope in this one. It's mechanical, not moral, really, which means it's workable.
Facts.
Today's skill, we're calling it Behind the Hate.
When that voice shows up, the fast one, the fluent one, the one that sounds absolutely certain, you're not going to argue with it. Arguing treats it like a debate to win.
Yeah, but so instead you ask it one question internally. What are you afraid will happen if you stop?
And then you actually wait. You might not get words back, not initially. Maybe you just get a feeling, a tightening, a flash of an old scene. Gosh, maybe nothing at all.
And whatever comes up is useful because underneath almost every version of that voice is some version of the same fear. If I stop attacking, something worse gets in. Rejection, danger, being caught off guard by a hurt this part remembers exactly.
In essence, you're not trying to make it stop today. You're trying to find out what job it thinks it's doing.
Yep, you can't reason with a job you don't know about, but you can start a conversation with one that you do.
Behind the hate.
So here's what we'll leave you with this week.
If you can, without forcing it, ask the harshest voice in you what it's so afraid of. Not to fix it today, just to meet it as a sacred part instead of a verdict.
Ooh, so take your time with that one. It's not light.
Nope, it is not. And next time, this is the last one in the series. This is called All of You, Welcome. And where all of this actually goes.
Every part we've met this whole series in one room, finally.
Yay! Thank you for being here for this one, especially. We know it's not an easy episode to sit inside, and you did it anyway.
That's right. Stephanie, it's been really great. I think that I've learned a lot through this series. And as always, it's definitely influenced how I show up with my clients. Yeah, so can't wait to round it out.
And remember, healing isn't linear, and we're here for the ride. This podcast is for educational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for therapy, medical care, or professional advice.
Listening to this podcast or this episode does not create a therapeutic, clinical, or professional relationship with us.
If you're experiencing distress, physical symptoms, or emotional concerns that feel overwhelming, we both encourage you to seek support from a qualified healthcare or mental health professional.
And if you are in immediate danger or need urgent support, please contact local emergency services or a crisis line in your area.